Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them. Your mic is not even on, Missy.
What? This keeps happening.
I
You know what?
your
There's
cord.
something wrong with this cord, I think.
I think something's
falling
wrong
out.
with the operator. Something's wrong with the
'cause I do
operator.
move around a lot.
You do. You move around a lot,
Yes.
and now you're the consequences of your own behavior. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sarajevo in 1995, and why oh why Sarajevo in 1995 important, Soraya? That's when you're supposed to
You
read
tell
the
me.
thing.
Oh.
That's,
Well, I just saw somebody.
You read the thing from 7.
Yes. Okay. Mandatory suicide. This song is about the horrors of war, especially what happened in the 2 world wars. But I never saw it from that perspective. I viewed the lyrics as what we, the military, would do to the enemy, not what I would ever have to go through. Sorry. Not my proudest thought, but true.
Ready? This is Mandatory Suicide by the band Slayer.
You have my headphones over there? And
What do you mean? Go ahead.
no. Okay, yes, I'm good.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Well, so he's saying that this is
the
about
lyrics
the
is
2
what
world
we,
wars.
the military, would do to the enemy, not what I would ever have to go through.
I see. What we were going to do to them, not what they might do to us. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Or that he himself, as the individual, would have to commit such an act.
I
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why he said after that, he says, not my proudest thought, but true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mandatory Suicide by the band Slayer. Let's go. Okay, so that guy's trying to deal with the copyright.
That's a fun
These
sound.
guys are gangsters, bro. Yikes. Ran in Blood?
I don't know.
Because it had that tremolo
Blood's
slash
cheap.
dum dum dum. 1988.
Silent Scream.
Oh, that's the one that had Silent Scream on it. Holy smokes. That was Slayer, ladies and gents.
Wow.
Mandatory suicide. That's World War One. Remember we were listening to that on Hardcore History? You guys, if you ever like are really truly interested in like history, but not like in a boring way, Hardcore History is really, really good.
It really is.
If you go to Apple Podcasts and just do Hardcore History, you'll see like it's amazing. And he talks about World War One and World War Two, and he was talking about how we're on the sort of like crest of these technological advancements, and so we became more efficient killers of each other, but then we still had these old school tactics. So these guys were like setting up on the lines, and kids were just getting mowed down, bro. Like the entire
they said the number of how many kids went down. It's just
it was German. It was he did an episode on these German kids,
sad. Yeah.
and like the previous battalion or whatever it was had gotten like completely eliminated. So they sent these kids like 4 months early. They weren't even like completely trained. And they sent these kids out 4 months early.
And they were young. And they were I'm pretty sure that was the one where they knew that the kids were like forging their own paperwork to be older than they were. And they were taking them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awful.
It was really, really like... But it was cool because you very rarely hear about anything, especially as regards World War One or World War Two, that humanizes German people, especially German soldiers. Germans, they always have to be portrayed as these like, whatever crazy. They're all, like the guy was talking about how all these parents, like everybody was dead, and like. They didn't.
That was the whole neighborhood thing, right? Where they stopped doing that.
Well, that was on the German side. On the Allied side, there was this one neighborhood in England, and all the kids were like on the same soccer team together or whatever. So they all wanted to go together, and so it was like this big thing. Everybody's we're all going together. Well, pretty much all of them. A bunch of them ended up dying, and so they were like, we're never going to do that again.
I would move out of that neighborhood.
And then the kids wouldn't leave. They were told to leave. You like leave your friend behind or whatever. They couldn't do it. You grew up playing. You're not going to leave your.
Oh, that's sad.
It's like your brother. You're not going to do that shit.
Yeah.
So it's just horrible to think about. And then it must be such a weird experience, man. Like you're sitting there listening to Slayer and all this shit, and like and then now you're in the thick of it, and
yeah. I wonder how often people are in those situations and a song pops in their head, or if that doesn't happen.
Oh, a lot. I mean, from what I've heard, dudes. Yeah, I mean. I was reading that thing to you where a dude was going on the Bin Laden hit. He was listening to that game song. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, music is it's a soundtrack, man. For sure. And it's music and war have always been closely lined up together.
Yeah, well, yeah,
drums and all that shit. Like back in the day, dudes would roll up to intimidate the enemy and inspire the troops. So like the Star Spangled Banner, whole 9 yards. So, it's just crazy though. Like murder at your every footstep, a child's toy, sudden death. That's crazy.
Because they played with guns as kids, but now it's the real deal.
Well, that and a lot of times when war gets really, really dirty, you'll have. Kid thinks he's playing with picking up a ball or a soccer. Oh yeah, like soccer balls. Oh, you'll have no idea. Oh yeah, because it's like gold over there for these kids, So yeah, and
it's like kids don't listen. You know what I mean? Like you can tell them a billion times, but if they believe and they never saw it happen before, they'll pick up that ball even though you told them a million times not to touch it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And like And then the other side, kids, you know, you have the child soldier phenomenon, which a lot of our folks weren't, you know, prepared for. You know, with Japan in World War II, and then the in Vietnam, and then obviously our guys had to deal with it too in, you know, the modern era with, you know, I was listening to this guy and he talked about, you know, sniping a kid. And
you can't see that kid without seeing your own kids. You know what I mean? So it's going to make it significantly more difficult. They definitely knew what they were doing. So this guy, he had to snipe a kid?
Yeah, a lot of dudes snipe kids. You know, and some guys are like, well, you know, hey, you know, it depends. If you've seen one of these kids kill one of your friends, you don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just don't care because you're in a certain kind of a mindset. And, you know, it's not for us or anyone to judge any of these people. Like these guys, you know, people do what you have to do to get home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to, you know, but.
Right.
I mean,
and if you don't advance, then they're going to get you.
Yeah, a lot of times I think of, you know, we're developing a doctrine of hell and you know, we read it today in Jude where the people were destroyed in their destruction or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And where I was saying like, yeah, if God leaves you to yourself, then you're going to raise hell. You're going to bring hell to the earth. You know, we're either bringing heaven down to earth or bringing hell up.
Yep.
So you're either raising hell or calling down heaven. So anytime I think about hell and what it would be like if you were an eternal being in some segment of the universe where you could do whatever the hell you wanted. Even the relationships that you build are going to be completely only there to increase your own misery. Because if you don't have that love for your fellow human being, which I believe is inherent to the image of God. I think that's the ultimate outworking of what it means to be an image bearer of God is our capacity to love. So that even when what is war? War is the image of God and original sin in the same person on 10 for 18 months, right? Like,
yeah.
So, you know, the willingness to be, you know, the scripture says that we're quick to shed blood.
I keep thinking about that
verse. The willingness to just end somebody's life.
Well, it says at the end of the song, like, blood was cheap or something like that.
Yeah, blood's cheap. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, like, the quickness with which a soldier is willing to kill another human being is uncommon. And converse to that, the quickness with which a soldier is willing to sacrifice his own life for other people, for people that they don't know, is also uncommon. And you're seeing.
Yeah.
But imagine the war without the virtue. So imagine war just for the sake of war. Imagine bloodshed for the sake of bloodshed. You're not fighting to go home to no girl. You're not fighting for a kid. You're just fighting to kill and to be killed and to see blood. And that's hell. I don't think God needs to go down anywhere and set anyone on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was telling Dorian yesterday, I was like, of course the fire of hell is not, like, physical, but that's not good news. Like, it doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus took the worst possible metaphor we could understand and said, this is what it's like. That's not good news.
I think that, you know, people will say they'll be having like inside issues and then they start like cutting or something like that because it's easier to feel the pain on their arm than it is to feel the pain like inside of them.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it that way, it's like, well, maybe a physical hell would actually be better than a soulish hell because, you know, we know what it is to be troubled. We know what it is to feel, you know, fucked up inside. So, yeah.
Yeah, and should soldiers question when they are ordered to kill? Of course they should question it.
I didn't know they were allowed to. I thought it was.
I mean, they do, and a lot of times dudes don't follow orders and all the rest of it. You know, that happens a lot. The problem is that, especially in a situation like this, it's a chaotic situation. Dudes are trying to kill you. It's not about orders at that point. It's just plain old survival. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what ends up happening is a lot of times your orders are concomitant with your survival. It just so happens that if he orders you, take everybody out here, it also increases your chance of surviving because the guys on the other side are trying to take you out. So you always, like AT is saying, you always as a person can speak out, and it's happened on a multitude of occasions. A lot of guys in the SEAL teams right now are speaking out against, stuff that's happening in their community because ever since our president in his infinite wisdom announced that it was the DevGru guys that took out bin Laden, it's been very hard to manage those guys for obvious reasons. So, yeah, there's lots of times that you can question as a soldier, and that you should, as a conscientious objector. In this situation, and he says, "Soldier of misfortune." Yeah. That's a crazy line.
Yeah.
That's a crazy line. But this is a song I feel like only Slayer could do. Like the way that they do it. Because Slayer really, it's a soundtrack to hell, bro.
They do well.
I had a phase years ago when I was starting to get into Slayer because of, I forgot what the thing was. I was trying to be somebody was saying, oh, Metallica's fine, but you gotta, Slayer is a real. Well, I listened to one Slayer song. It was a song called Chemical Warfare or something like that. Mm-hmm. I had a dream that night, and I was like, I'm good. Because I usually don't have nightmares. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't have nightmares. I just don't sleep. But, I was like, yeah. So I didn't listen to Slayer for a long time after that. As a matter of fact,
wow, really?
The first time I listened to Slayer after that dream was the channel. So
wow.
Do with that what you will.
Interesting.
All right, what do you get the song?
9.7. I liked it.
9.6 for me.
Oh, we got very close to the same score. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting about not going on the plane. I mean, again, there were a lot of conscientious objectors in, Vietnam, for example, where you had the famous line from Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali, where he said, no Viet Cong ever called me a nigger. I don't got no beef with those boys, so I'm not going over there. And he paid the price for it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you always have the opportunity to do that as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. We got another joint coming up for you, beautiful people. If you are in the chat on the DJ stream, sit tight. We got more songs coming down the way. If you're a squirrel and you're on regular YouTube, you're going to have to check us out at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or go back and click on any of the videos you're interested in seeing.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.